Mikhail.
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, good. Sorry, I was 2 minutes late.
No worries. Shoot, I'm just waking up, so I don't
Oh
know what's going
gosh,
on
of
right now.
course. It's 7 a.m. your side, isn't it?
Nice and early. Just how I like it though. So,
Awesome. Yeah,
how's your
was
day
it?
been so far?
Yeah, great. I was up at 5:30 today doing my yoga, and I'm an early riser, but I can tell you right now at 3 p.m. I'm already feeling for a nap.
Yeah, you beat me to it. It's 5:30 a.m. But so what kind of yoga did you do early in the morning?
It was a hatha yoga practice, and it was a little bit of a spiritual kind of explanation. It was a half an hour teaching, and then we did a practice.
Okay, let's actually go into that. So, hatha yoga, that's something you've been practicing a lot. And like, tell me about like your first experience like practicing yoga. Like, how did you get into it?
Okay, so yoga for me started about 14 years ago. Let's say into a bit of unpredictable way when my physical state was not the best. And that time I went into an actual emergency room. I had some issues with my heart rate being up for my age was quite weird. So the cardiologist, to my surprise, recommended me yoga. She was very positive about the benefits of yoga. So I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. Up until then, I was very skeptical about yoga and I did not know much about it. So I went into even the following week into a Ashtanga yoga, so it was quite of a intense practice, and I loved it. I fell in love with the whole thing, from the pranayama to meditation to the asanas. All the practice was just something amazing for me, and I kept going. I went back to that specific class a few times, and then I started including it more and more into my life. It became a practice, it became a curiosity as well, and that's kind of in a nutshell how I started with yoga, out of necessity, going through a bit of a time at that time in my life when I lost my mother. Like I said, I was my heart rate was up and down, going, it wasn't the best physical.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yoga helped me tremendously.
So like what did you discover about your body when you first started out doing this? I mean, obviously you're suffering from a lot of health issues. And so I'm assuming that when you start doing yoga, maybe you start to even discover even more about your body, maybe some imbalances or maybe some uh, weaknesses or things like that, or maybe some tensions. Can you maybe go into that? Like, what did you discover as you started to practice yoga more and more?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I was 22 back then, and I remember feeling quite stiff. Flexibility was not amazing, although I did gymnastics was when I was a kid, but for just a very short period of time. But my overall physical health was not great. But I noticed how yoga really opened me up, helped me be a little bit more focused with time, more flexible, benefited a lot my health for that reason. And just overall, my well being improved, and I felt with every practice better and better. Definitely stiff muscles around my hip bones. So with every yoga practice, I started opening a little bit more my hip area, and physical strength as well, because I was a bit of a weak one, and I with the power yoga, which I discovered a little bit later, I've also improved my physical health, my strength, of course, my physical health, but my strength really improved, and then I applied it a lot in my day-to-day practice.
And so, are you someone that looks a lot into the philosophy of yoga too? Like, what's your first introduction to like the philosophy of yoga, and like how is it like changed the way you viewed life in general?
For me, yoga means balance. So obviously, it translates to many things, but yoga, it kind of balances your mind, your body, your spirit, and everything that goes around with this practice. Gives you a boost of energy, vitality in your life, helps you see everything a bit differently, be obviously a bit more aware of everything that surrounds you, and live life truly more consciously. And for me, it's just translating to having all of that translates into balance. So obviously, yoga is unity, it's community, bringing everyone together. But I think it's beyond that. It should be I mean, for me, it is a lifestyle.
And so, I mean, when you got first introduced to yoga, and then that lady mentioned it to you, was she saying it? Was she prescribing a certain type of yoga for your heart? Was there a certain like specific like things she recommended so that you can like fix a certain thing?
You know what? She was obviously, because I had a very rapid heart rate. She performed some sort of physical thing where she massaged an area on my neck, and then she described it as the vagus nerve. In yoga, we study the vagus nerve. It's the one that obviously you're probably aware of, connects your brain, your heart, your stomach. It's that intuition, right? Nerve, we call it in yoga. And as she performed the massage, she told me, you should try yoga because it has a deep relation, vibrational especially, with this vagus nerve, which basically triggers emotions, triggers anxiety as well, stress. So it's as in anxiety and stress would trigger your vagus nerve to act weirdly. Um, so she made this relation, and it was very interesting because every cardiologist or a doctor out there won't think about immediately about the energetical part and the all of this spiritual part. They will think of fixing, cutting, doing something, right? Action. But she was really cool. I think it was kind of a godsend thing in a way, because obviously she was one of the reasons I am here today with yoga.
So yeah, I mean, you talked about like being in a state of balance, or how like yoga produces a state of balance. Can you talk a little bit more about the inner transformation that happens within you? Like, is there a deeper like inner transformation that people can experience when they are disciplined with yoga? And what is that like?
Yeah, of course. So yoga is a mindfulness practice. In a way, you're obviously connected all the time if you're really doing it properly and you follow some of the yoga rules, and you practice both the pranayama, the breathing techniques, as well as asanas, the postures, which are a very small part of yoga actually. And you do meditation, which is one of the most important core parts of yoga. I think these three elements are super important to bring into that state of balance. And from there, from that consciousness, you would do things through that prism of like get everything that you do throughout the day, your work, the way you eat, the way you socialize, it will come from that consciousness. So you become um, like a yogi, basically, um, doing everything with a mindful approach. You know what I mean? So for me, I think diving deeper and deeper into my practice, and having this yoga practice throughout all these 14 years taught me to really keep this awareness, raise this awareness as well around me, but just live out of this consciousness.
And so do you breathe after yoga, or before, or not breathe? Do you meditate before or after doing yoga?
Depends. I have days when I wake up and I meditate first thing, then I do a little bit of movement, and I finish with some pranayama, like an energetic breathing, something like, for example, the breath of fire. It's a good one in the morning that I do. But sometimes I do towards the evening. I do like a more slow pace. yoga practice that kind of leads me into a bit of more relaxed state of mind, prepare me for sleep, and then I follow with the meditation. Doesn't have to be always in this order. When I teach, I like to start with keeping the center and coming back to your present moment, and do a slight meditation at the beginning, continue with pranayama, and then do the postures. And then obviously at the end, do a little bit of meditation again, because yoga is the path to meditation. For me, that's one of the most important things that I never skip in a yoga practice.
And what do you mean by path of meditation? Is that just an, I mean, you kind of already covered it, but like maybe you can go a little bit deeper on what you mean by path of meditation.
So yoga, in a sense, like I said earlier, it's unity, means unity, and in Sanskrit it has the yoga has eight limbs that are basically defining yoga, what it is. And I can detail a little bit. Basically, they're the yamas, or the way you value, you conduct from the interior, your virtues, basically. The niyamas, which are a little bit more about your personal observations around the world. Asana is the posture, and the posture, or asana in Sanskrit, means seated, actually. It doesn't mean active movement, although we do active movements to lead us into meditation, because all that physical exercise, all that, some of the poses, especially in Ashtanga yoga, who are quite, some of them quite difficult, and you sit in the posture for a long time. The idea there is to focus your mind and to get into a meditative state, to be in that posture for a long time. So asana will lead into a seated, eventually the whole asana practice will lead to the seated position at the end, which is shavasana. And then the pranayama, the breathing techniques, another limb of yoga, which is super important. The breathing, the way we breathe is the way we will living our lives, basically. The more unconscious we breathe, the more hectic we live our lives. The more conscious we breathe, and we try to focus on the breath from time to time, and practice these pranayama techniques, the more we become conscious, the more we arrive at what's at the end of the whole the mission of yoga, which is to arrive to the blissfulness or samadhi. There is also pratyahara, eliminating all the let's say stimuli you have around you, so you can get into the focus mode or dharana and meditate, which is dhyana, to get to the, in yoga they call it samadhi, or the connection with the nirvana state or blissfulness. So kind of in a short, that's kind of what yoga means in general. And from there are obviously different branches.
Yeah, have you experienced this blissfulness? Like
I'm quite an experienced yogi, but I have to say you can't really put a finger on these until you do a lot of practice. I did experience during my meditation a lot of sensations of going through a different state, or let's say a different dimension. Definitely my body wasn't feeling like it's there anymore.
like you were saying something, or it just felt like you were yeah, it just
I
felt like
think
you were
it's
somewhere
just,
else.
no, I feel like it's deeper than that. Through meditation, I'm trying to reach like deep levels of my consciousness, so going into the subconscious mind. And one of the things here is the idea of meditation. It is to connect with your intuition, connect with that subconscious mind, see what's out there. And I think I've probably reached that a few times. Yes, not all the time. Doesn't happen at every meditation, but I try hard.
Yeah, so like when you're reaching into your subconscious mind, like what do you see or what do you experience when you're getting into these depths of your mind?
It starts to be a little bit more clear. Like if I had any questions before I got to the meditation, I somehow find the answers just by touching that point of like, my interior voice is, the gut feeling, how we call it, your intuition. It is
Yeah.
that subconscious mind. It's connected to your pineal gland in your brain, who emits all the time all these sensories and all these energetical impulses. We are human, but we also have a spiritual layer. So we do have the power, the sixth sense, to really communicate with that interior voice and live the world for a little bit if you want.
Talk to me, like, do you have any insights on like also the pineal gland? I know it's a very, for some people they've done a lot of research, some people haven't, but I'm curious if you've done a lot of research on the pineal gland or like anything like that.
Um, Not a lot. I read the obvious authors such as Joe Dispenza, who talks a lot about the practices of the brain and how we could, interfere with our beta, alpha, theta, gamma waves, and how we can influence our subconscious mind, how we can tell our subconscious mind to think in a different way if we need to heal a trauma or heal a wound or something. And I think it's really interesting what he's talking about and all his theory, and as well as all his amazing work. I do like to read authors like that. I've also been led by a therapist here in where I'm from, in Barcelona, who touches a lot about pineal gland, about transformational journeys, astral journeys, as well as obviously traveling between dimensions. He is quite of a interesting person. He's a Reiki master as well, but I don't personally teach that. Obviously, I'm not, but I did experience it, and I'm very interested to learn a little bit more about tapping into their pineal gland and learning a little bit more about how you can obviously work with that to get into a different dimension or just speak to your interior voice.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a cool rabbit hole to go down, like the pineal gland and like, opening up your third eye, stuff like that. And then reprogramming your subconscious mind, like, is that something that you try to do? Like, and if so, like, how do you try to reprogram your subconscious mind?
You probably heard, and it's quite of a popular subject these days, the power of manifestation. It's true. It comes from basically working with your subconscious mind. You can manifest on having your most desired life, job, maybe career, relationship, and so on, your health or your physical aspect and all of that, by using the subconscious mind, telling yourself how you could achieve this, acting like you are already in that process, acting like you deserve all of these. So a simple exercise is to always think positively about yourself and what you deserve. Tell yourself all these positive affirmations before going to bed, when you wake up, and programming this way little by little your subconscious mind. So if you think you deserve all of these things, like a better job, a better relationship with your friends, with your family, with your partner, a better house where to live, or a life in general, then you could achieve these things by really programming the subconscious mind, attracting what you, be the person you want, be the author of your own life, basically. So I'm a big fan of all the manifesting process, and I'm actually leading some classes here in Barcelona of yoga and vision board, and we meet every 6 months or so, and we make a vision board with some. I do a women's circle where we do a vision board, and we just basically do visualization meditations, and just write down all our deepest desires and work on them, plan to action.
Yeah, so I mean, walk me through like what does that look like with a vision board and everything? Like, how are you like first getting into a state of like maybe where you can like manifest, or like what does it look like to be in that, like circle and things like that?
Yeah, so we get together in small circle. It's better to have like quality over quantity with these things. Also, energetically, it's a little bit better. And we write down the deepest desires in like 6 different subjects of our lives. I like to keep 6 different subjects. You can also make it the lower, like 4, but I like to keep career, love, romance, family and friends, your home, um, and your personal development. Some of these things are like kind of key, and then you can add other layers if you want, but some of these are key. And start manifesting by adding at least 3 objectives in each of these categories. And what we do then, we start to make a little bit of a plan, which means aligning the behavior, create a plan to action towards these objectives. Like literally, like for example, if you want to change your career, write it down exactly how you're going to plan acting on it, without just questioning yourself too much. We always have we're always doubting ourselves. So without doubting yourself, removing that fear, acting on it, and it's much better than keep on that fear and lowering yourself down, thinking that you're not enough or you don't deserve that. So obviously always working with those positive affirmations as well. And then a plan to action, and then putting these vision boards after we do a visualizing meditation, seeing ourselves already on the path to succeed in all these categories. um, the idea is to put the vision board away from eyes of other curious people, but also away from you looking at it, because you want to leave it there and trust the universe that these things will happen, because you already know, planting in your subconscious mind all of these and starting acting, turning your behavior into action point for all of these categories. You will know what to do. The universe will open new ways for you to achieve these things. You just have to trust it. So
Hey, you know what I find
that's
crazy? Sorry about
yeah.
that. You can finish your last thought. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, these are kind of the how we're doing the visualizing and the manifesting process and doing a vision board. And we always finish with a guided meditation practice at the end, visualizing how we are on the path, on the mission, towards that mission and achieving it.
Yeah, you know what I find crazy is that like a lot of this stuff is hidden, or most people don't necessarily tell you how to like manifest, actually visualize properly and things like that. I don't know. I find that crazy, but also it's also interesting like how it's hidden like that, because if we truly knew how to manifest, I think we'd definitely be looking at a different society, or like a different level of people out there. I think society would be more
Yeah.
developed if we taught how to manifest or visualize like that. Um, so, I mean,
Yeah, it's not.
have you heard of Neville? Go ahead.
No, sorry. I think we have a bit of a delay, but I was just trying to say there that it's not that someone needs to teach us. I think we have quite a bit of array of courses out there and a lot of information for free, um, about manifesting and how to do it. I think it's the first problem or the first layer that we need to address is people's self-doubt and fears of starting as from the beginning, and a lot of unhealed trauma that makes us, a lot of us, just say no first, or just doubting ourselves about things that we could do. Oh, I can't really get more, I don't think I'm able to get more money this year because I know this is all I can do. And like putting ourselves limits, coming from the fear, from the unhealed subconscious mind who tells us that we are not enough. So I think the first point starts there. Do you understand what I mean? So I think it starts all
Mhm.
from the intuition and healing that intuition, that your wisdom, your internal wisdom, or the fourth level, your fourth layer, or fourth kosha. In yoga, we have these 5 layers of the body, and the intuition, or Vijnana Maya, it's your fourth layer before you reach your deepest layer in your body, which is your soul, your spirit. And this subconsciousness, or the intuition, it's our interior wisdom, is the closest you can be to your soul and your connection with the divinity, let's call it. I think people should tap more into that and listen to that intuition. That probably is already telling them, oh, you are already enough and you can make more money this year, because you know you have all the tools. Just eliminate the fears, you know. It's working towards it, working into those affirmations, and remind yourself that you're good enough. So love for yourself, it's one of an important step that in the manifestation process.
Yeah, definitely getting in touch with your inner self is definitely, a good step to take too. And I like what you said, like removing the fears and the doubts and things like that. Because that's definitely a big thing that holds people back. It's just what they project to be true, but is false, like illusions, fears, doubts. Yeah, definitely people have that in them, but it's all that programming and influence from other people as well can definitely influence someone's, ability to actually want to manifest and things like that. They just listen to what other people say rather than what's going on inside of here. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
and I want to go back to maybe your Reiki, or the person you go to for Reiki. I was actually quite curious about that. So like,
Okay.
so what exactly like goes on there? Like he helps you open up certain energetic centers, or like he's helping you like heal certain blockages, or he or
Yeah, I
she.
mean, he's very talented in all he does with all the energy therapies. And most of it, I love the chakra healing. So the chakras, the 7 points of the energetic points in our body. He works with all of those. And I've been to a retreat about 2 years ago with a group of people conducted by this therapist. And I have to say, it was one of the best retreats I've ever been into, because it was all about Reiki, shamanic experience of, we've done a ceremonial circle of shamanic experience and meditation with sound healing. It was incredible. As well as we've done everyday meditations focused on different layers of our body, or chakra healing. The root chakra was the most emphasized, because a lot of problems come from the bottom of earth, right? From our rooted way. Sometimes we're not rooted properly, or we are feeling too disconnected with Mother Nature. So we've done a lot of these root chakra meditations. I think they were a wonderful way of expanding also my mind, as well as really reconnecting with myself. And it was a huge personal development step ahead for me, participating in these retreats with my therapist. And the Reiki, I think it's a wonderful practice, a wonderful therapy, if you want. And I've just had amazing positive impact on me. I had a few blockages as well on the energetic level, and I'm working towards unblocking them. I don't think we're ever gonna heal all our chakras. I feel like they're always gonna compensate each other. If one is unbalanced, then the other will be okay, and something like that. We just have to kind of work on an overall well-being, and try to work towards balancing the chakras. Reiki is an amazing therapy. So if you've never experienced it, I totally recommend you.
What chakra do you feel most connected to, or do you feel like is most open for you Like even though I mentioned it now, like what would be something you feel like is open?
I think my root chakra is pretty good. I feel connected to earth. I feel very rooted in my routine. I feel like I've been in the same place for 10 years now, and I feel like I feel balanced when I have my routine and I'm in a place where I get to discover everything and feel like I'm connecting with everyone around me, but as well as I'm creating like a bit of a path for myself and a routine. And I feel like my solar plexus chakra is also pretty stable. It's always about obviously in your solar plexus, just below your diaphragm. It's also where your connection with your intuition, your vagus nerve finishes there in your stomach. So I feel like that's always been balanced. I'm super connected to my intuition. I do things from my gut feeling a lot. So I think these two chakras are working fine. There's a couple that I'm still working on to be fully balanced. And one of them, I'm exercising it today with you here, my Thymus chakra, so my throat chakra, by speaking and telling things. It's an exercise of opening this, because for me, it's been always a bit hard to talk about my experiences with this kind of practices. But I think the teaching part of yoga obviously helped with this as well. So I'm still working.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that you were born? I mean, maybe just reflecting on it now, like, do you think that you were born with certain ones more open than others? Like, are the centers,
Um,
chakra centers, open more than others, or how do you feel like or do you even think that's a thing?
you mean like if you're born with openness
Like your solar
towards
plexus, like
oh
say for example, you're born
mm,
like with your solar plexus more open, or your third eye more open, or
no,
your
I
root
don't think.
chakra.
I think we're born pretty pure, and they get blocked with time. They get blocked with a
Okay.
bit of trauma from there, trauma from there. We are all born in this world with the trauma of abandonment. Like we get abandoned by the mother by leaving the womb. So we all born in this world with that, with the shame of being abandoned children, because our subconscious minds already tell us we are cut from the umbilical cord, we're separated
Yeah.
without knowing that we're going to come back to the cozy spot or not. So let's say we're programmed to have at least our rooted chakra unbalanced, because obviously we don't know what's happening. It's our grounding chakra. But I think we block these chakras by living a bit of an anxious, chaotic, stressful life. We are doing it. We bring this upon ourselves. But I think you cannot really live through life without having these imbalances. It's our exercise. It's our way of knowing. It's our I would say exercise for life, to learn how to balance these chakras and how to balance our life.
Yeah, like when you're born too, like having that fear definitely is I think everybody else has different birth traumas too, but I think things definitely get inverted. So like when you're born, things slowly start to like before like you're a spirit with the soul with the body, and then slowly you start to identify with a lot of things, and then things start to become inverted because of um you could say certain powers that be. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, you slowly start to get inverted, and that's why I think certain mystical teachings talk about being born again. Like, you know, you're born in your mother's womb, you come out of it, but you have to be born again, like born in spirit and
Yes,
things like that. And then, yeah, have that energetic alignment with yourself again and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely a mission. So,
exactly. Yes, it's our mission in life to refine who we really are, because I do believe in reborning, resetting yourself. So you get another chance to find who you are and act upon it, and try to be the best version of yourself. So fighting with the traumas, nobody's perfect. We all go through things in life. Um, and fighting and finding the light at the end of all this tunnel. I think that's our mission. Majority of people are born with the difficulty of finding their mission in life. The mission in life for majority of us should be to become the best version of ourselves and healing all these traumas by doing so.
Is there someone that's like spiritually advanced for you that you would look to for advice, or is there anything that is there any I don't know, higher beings that you try to connect to, or things like that?
You mean like divinity, divine? I'm a very big believer of Mother Nature and energy in general. I don't look up at any gods, although I'm a practitioner of yoga. But I do believe in energy of the world. I do believe in Mother Nature. I do believe in higher beings above us. And I believe that everything regenerates and recycles. So we have to be in this world and live in this world with the recognition for everything we have and gratitude. I think is one of the most important things is to be grateful for everything, especially nature, whom without we would be won't exist. Like nature, we need to protect nature. We are nature. Connecting with nature is like one of the most beautiful things you could do as a human. We are destroying it by living in these cities, and not just living in the city, by growing the cities more and cutting nature off. So live with purpose and gratitude.
Yeah, nature is always in a state of balance. So tying it back into balance, like nature is always in that state, and by connecting to it, we can definitely find ourselves a little bit more balanced. Especially if you live in a city or something, you go back to nature, you feel a little bit more balanced. Because definitely there is some
Absolutely.
imbalances a lot with energy in the cities and things like that. Always highs, always lows, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the way the way we live our lives in the city, the way we eat, the way we connect, it's just been becoming really, yeah, super unbalanced. So we need to, it's our duty to go back to Mother Nature and respect it, first of all.
And so let's talk about nutrition now. So like with nutrition, right? Like what how did you start to get more conscious of what you eat, or like what started to get you into nutrition and things like that?
Oh, I love sports, and I realized, especially like weightlifting. Besides yoga, weightlifting. Um, I love a little bit of swimming. I love paddle boarding. So, and obviously, because I like the sports and I like to eat, I thought about um, I need to think about how I eat. So the sports I become a little bit more active, have more energy, as well as a bit better at my sports. So I got very interested into the nutrition part, and I think it also comes from intuition and listening to your body and what your body needs. So the way I nurture myself, it's from there. Obviously, I have cravings, like everyone does. You just have to know how to cut the cravings by eating balanced again. So balancing here as well, another my favorite word. Um, and just, yeah, communicate with your body all the time. Feel like, what does it really need? Does it really need that extra snack or anything? Just listen. If you like, how much water does it need? And all of that. Same with exercise of movement. But I believe in nutrition, and I don't believe in eating just for eating, and I don't believe in counting calories. So that's kind of my philosophy in very, very short, with nutrition and food. And I've just actually made a ginger water for myself here to come to your podcast. I thought ginger water with rosemary just hydrates. The water is a little warm.
What does the rosemary do?
It's just a kind of enhances your senses because it's Mediterranean. It smells really nice,
Yeah.
so it helps with the, let's say, with the sense of smell. Property wise, rosemary, it has quite a high level of vitamins, but in very, very large quantity. But it's just for the purpose of smell. Ginger,
For the
although, has a lot
small.
of good properties. Ginger,
Yeah,
although, for
definitely.
me, it's a replacement to coffee. I do ginger shots in the morning, for just mixed with a little bit of water or apple juice. If you don't like the strength of ginger, can be really powerful, and that's, for me, it's like an espresso shot.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you don't put a, what is it, cayenne pepper or anything
You
like
can
that?
put
I know a lot
cayenne
of people like to put
pepper.
that.
You can put a little bit of, if you want your gut to feel a little bit more happy. You can put a little bit of apple cider vinegar, just a teaspoon as well, and yeah, you have an elixir to perfect morning wake up.
Yeah. I used to do ginger shots all the time. I love seeing
Yeah,
people's faces when they like drink it for the first time too. They're like, they get all, the face all
yeah,
shrivels up and everything, and just like try to shake it off. That's funny. Do you make faces? So when you first tried a ginger shot, did you like make a face or anything like that, or would you like,
yeah.
oh, this is
It
like
obviously
intense?
is strong. It's spicy, strong. You feel like, when you had wasabi for the first time with your sushi.
Oh yeah,
The same is
yeah.
like, whoa. But I love it. I don't. Yeah, I don't push back.
Do you make it yourself, or do you like or do you buy it
Yeah,
from somewhere?
I buy it sometimes from somewhere, but I do have one of these processors, and I do make it myself, and I love it. I make it at home stronger, actually, because when you find it in to buy in all these cafes, they kind of dilute it with a lot of apple juice and other stuff that it's not exactly what I want.
Oh, interesting. What else do you so are you a big juicer? Like you're into making juices and things like that?
Not huge. Also, kind of be careful with the juices because obviously, if there's more uh, fruits in it than vegetables, you get more sugar spikes. But no, I would have maybe one cold pressed juice like that a week. I'm not an everyday thing, you know. I do like to squeeze vegetable juices, so I do like beetroot, carrot. Um, I love kale, wheatgrass as well. So all the herbs are really good for you. So yeah, I like to combine these, and obviously a fruit or two. But I try to keep less sugar than possible because carrots, for example, are quite sweet anyway. So they do have quite a bit of sugar.
What are like some superfoods for like athletic performance? Like what have you noticed like has helped enhance your ability to perform better in sports or just have more energy in general?
Well, I have a list. So for me, I think the best superfood. It's obviously also vegetarian, not vegan, vegetarian, would be eggs. Eggs is a superfood. Eggs are a superfood. Sorry, they are amazing. You can make them many ways, and it can serve as a snack as well as a brunch or a lunch or a dinner. They're amazing. Also, avocado, healthy fats. We all know it's nothing new to say about avocado. Coconut oil and coconut water. I think they are really awesome. Coconut oil, and especially MCT oil, which is the medium chain triglycerides, very like pure coconut oil extract from the nut, from the pulp, and that helps you with your brain enhancement. So your brain functions so much better when you consume that. Coconut water for hydration, super high levels of hydration on coconut water. It has more electrolytes than sparkling water as well. Helps with the hangover, helps with a lot of things. And it's one of the best electrolytes water to drink right post a workout. If you're feeling really dehydrated, as well as muscle spasming and things like that. Um, I'm a big fan of protein. I'm not a vegetarian. So grass-fed meats of any kind, chicken, beef, lamb, but grass-fed, locally sourced, you know what they're eating, farmed, raised, and so on. Probably the best protein you'll get. And leafy greens. I'm obsessed with leafy greens. Everything green, color greens, spinach, everything, and even vegetables, green vegetables, beans, green beans, broccoli, green peppers, zucchini, everything that just have. If you have the perfect plate for a meal, it would be probably 50% leafy greens or greens in general. About 40% protein, about 10% carbs, pure carbs, like a brown rice, whole grain rice. Then I love berries, berry anything. But
Very anything.
yeah, berry anything. But even on the berry side, I prefer blueberries and raspberries to blackberries or strawberries, which have higher sugar. Blueberries are pretty cool. We know they have a ton of antioxidants. And nut butters. I like to make my own sometimes when I have time. They take a while. Otherwise, I try to buy the very, very careful when you buy your nut butters. They're not the ones mixed with other palm oils and refined oils and sugar and things. They should be 100% peanuts and a little bit of salt. That's it. They don't require
Yeah.
more than that to taste delicious, or almonds, butter, or cashew butter, and so on. I absolutely love nut butters. You can use them in obviously drizzle over your morning granola or yogurt, put them in a shake, eat them as they are with a spoon. um, yeah, love them. And what else? If you cannot really leave carbs behind and you're a very, very big fan of carbs, I would say try sweet potato over potato. Although normal potatoes have a lot of potassium and it's good, they have vitamin C as well. But I would say sweet potato has way more properties, and I would recommend it next to a piece of protein or some leafy greens because it helps with that, with balancing that sugar level, your insulin level. And it also helps you with the cravings. So if you have cravings of a lot of sweets after eating, sweet potato will keep it down.
Yeah,
And
sweet
dark
potato's
chocolate.
good.
My last thing and not least, dark chocolate, anything 80% or above.
What's something that you would eat before like maybe a big game or something like that? Maybe something that you can sneak in for like a quick boost.
A quick boost, I will do like a protein bowl. So I'll be cacao, nuts, chia seeds, some quinoa, puffed quinoa I put in there for some crunchiness. I'll put nut butters, of course, maybe one date. I'll probably do dates,
Yeah, yeah.
like the good dates, not the ones that are brushed off with like golden syrup on top, like the real natural dates. Maybe one. Those are have high fiber. If you don't exaggerate with more than two per snack, then you should be fine. But yeah, dates are pretty amazing. They give you a boost of energy.
How about
And that would
honey?
be,
Would you
yeah.
ever put honey on any of the stuff?
I'm not a huge. I mean, I do love honey. I'm just not a huge honey recommender. Definitely don't warm up honey. So if you are drinking honey in your tea, don't put it when the tea is super super piping hot. You want to maybe keep it until like it's a bit more room temperature because it does chemically change. Honey changes with temperature, and it actually becomes a little toxic for your body if it's heated. And then if you are a big honey lover, I would say the raw honey is better than all these refined honeys. The more clear it is more syrupy it is. Avoid. Think better if it's more natural, looks a little bit more unfiltered, and locally sourced honey. So if you're from California, please don't buy honey from Florida or from Spain because I did not know about this, but I was taught by someone who has almond trees here in Catalonia, friend of mine, And she was telling me, yes, you need to consume honey from your locally sourced area, because you will this way keep your allergies away. Like if you have allergies to pollen, to things like that, eating the honey from that region, you'll keep away all the allergies from those trees where the bees hang out, and bushes and things like that, and flowers. So it's a good way of keeping allergies stay away from you.
Yeah, and last few questions, but do you believe in fasting? Any
Oh my
fasting
God,
of any kind?
I love fasting. So I'm a big believer in fasting, helping you with if you have inflammation in your body, helping you obviously lose weight as well. But it's most about inflammation in your body, in your organs, in the belly, in the part where you keep your organs, the most vital organs. So it's a great way of detoxing and just keeping yourself actually have more energy. I've been fasting now, and it becomes a lifestyle for more than a year. I'm usually fasting between 16 and 20 hours every day, and I usually incorporate the night with it. So I don't do it throughout the day. Some people do that, whatever, it's easy for everyone. For me, it's a little bit easier if I have like an earlier dinner, then I don't eat until like midday, 1 o'clock, 2 p.m. The next day, and I feel amazing. I always work out in the morning on an empty stomach, and I have amazing energy, more power than the if I would do it in the evening, for example. And I feel fasting is like the way to go for me. I'm gonna give it another year. It's becoming a lifestyle, so it's not even, I don't even think about it. It's just natural.
Yeah. And like another, or have you ever done dry fast or like water fasting or anything like that for health reasons or any other reason?
No, dry fasting. You mean, yeah? So water fasting, no. I believe we are water. We need water. I think those kind of fastings are a little bit too extreme. I know there is a lot of yoga practices where you go to a retreat center or something, and you do a water fasting for 2 days and food fasting for like a week. I think it's a little bit extreme. You can push your body into some quite extreme areas, and coming out of it has to be done very slow if you're doing it. I do see there are some health benefits for all the fasting, excluding also including water, especially if you have probably like a lot of inflammation in your body. And but I would say do it after you have a medical examination and someone really telling you it's okay.
Yeah, you definitely have to prepare for those like beforehand and like drink a lot of electrolytes, have a lot of fats in you and things like that. Or
Yeah,
yeah, that's or else you're gonna have because you're gonna be miserable during that. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
Let's see. Have you noticed like eating patterns in people? Like, would have you ever seen people eat for different reasons, or like have you noticed maybe like, oh, your friend picks up certain food when they do this, or when this happens in their life, or oh, so and so eats like this because of this. You ever notice eating patterns in people, or
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I have friends who are a little bit more into the physical exercise and weightlifting, and they do have dieting restrictions. They go through phases where they're fasting more than 24 hours, or they eat a specific amount of protein for I don't know how many days. Yeah, there are, but these are obviously related to sports and athlete performance. I know friends who are also like into running marathons, and obviously they have a way of eating before and after the marathon. But I'm in general, I'm getting surrounded. It's life, the way life makes us, relate to people. We attract the people that we. So if we're becoming a specific person, we attract the people around us to be the same, right? So we're kind of attracting the. So I'm attracting a lot of people lately. They're eating very healthy, or they're very conscious about the way they're eating. And I don't have any friends actually that drag me out for any fried food or any I wouldn't call it fried food being the bad thing, but I'm just saying I don't think I'm dragged out anymore about any fast food or anything bad, whatever you want to call it. Um, so I see around me a general consciousness, especially in Barcelona, who is also like, let's say LA in California, a little bit more about the physical aspect. Obviously, it's a beach town, so people tend to be a bit more conscious about what they're eating. But it's also the other side uh, of the circle. A lot of people still overweight. There is a lot of problems as well still with food patterns and behaviors in the city too. So I'm not saying that they're not. They are, and I feel like people are still obviously treating their body in a very bad way. And I don't know if this is coming from a huge campaign all over the world about body positivity, or it's about literally not giving much
You can say
towards
it.
the subject. Yes. But yeah, I mean, definitely friends around me are on different ways of treating their body, and definitely towards more like healthy eating and so on.
Okay. And then, like, as a final question, like, what's some final nutrition advice? So, what would be a final advice in terms of nutrition you'd give someone? What would be some final advice in terms of spiritual advice? And then final advice in terms of like maybe yoga practice, developing that. So we can start with nutrition, start talking about it.
Probably I can summarize all three of them in one thing, which is really live a
Okay.
balanced life, listening to your body, eat a balanced diet, and practice. Use your mind to really guide you, and listening to your mind and your intuition, um, to really go and achieve all the things that you meant to have. And also coming out of that intuition, try to really work towards the best version of the person you can become.
All right, awesome. And like, where can people find you?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Sinziana.wellness with Sînziana with I, that wellness, and also on my website, Sinzianawellness.com.
And you do yoga classes, right?
Yes,
For
I
anybody
do
listening
yoga
in Barcelona.
classes. In Barcelona outdoor, we start now in the summertime our regular classes here by the beach. And I do also in Barcelona workshops and events in a couple of studios here. I am starting some online classes, and whenever those are available, I will definitely let you and your audience know.
For sure, yeah, that'd be cool. All
Awesome.
right, well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much, Ezekiel, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And thanks so much for your time, for including me here.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for your time as well.